The stars above Earth looked calm, peaceful, but that peace was a lie. Far beyond the moon, a massive alien fleet drifted silently through space. Ships larger than cities glinted under the sun, their metal dark and cold. On Earth, people stared at the night sky, unaware of the danger heading straight for them. Satellites sent data back to command centers, and the numbers were terrifying. Millions of ships. Weapons capable of destroying planets. Humanity had never seen anything like it. In a hidden orbital station, Commander Elena Voss stared at the main screen, her jaw tight. She had fought in countless battles, but this was different. The last fleets had been wiped out in other systems. Entire star colonies were gone. Now, only one fleet remained. The last fleet that could possibly stand against the aliens. The weight of it pressed on her shoulders like a mountain. "Commander, sensors are picking up another jump," said Lieutenant Kiran Shah, pointing at the holographic display. The aliens moved fast, faster than any human ship could track. Their trajectory was clear, they were coming straight for Earth. Elena's eyes narrowed. "Prepare the fleet. Alert all defense stations. This is it. No more fleets left to help us." The fleet gathered in orbit, a small group of human ships against an endless black tide. The vessels were older, patched together from decades of designs, but their crews were ready. Young pilots trained for years, engineers who knew every wire in their ships, soldiers willing to risk everything. Among them, a young pilot named Eric Diaz sat in the cockpit of his fighter, hands trembling slightly. He had dreamed of flying among the stars, but now the dream was laced with fear. Fear that this flight might be his last. The fleet commander's voice echoed over the comms. "All ships, formation Delta. Stay close, stay sharp. We may not survive, but we will make them pay." Eric swallowed hard. "Yes, ma'am," he whispered to himself, gripping the controls. Outside, the stars streaked by as the fleet prepared for the jump into hyperspace, their only hope to reach Earth's orbit before the aliens did. The jump was tense. Every ship trembled as space itself bent around them. Some crews felt nausea, some felt a strange weight pressing on their chests. Minutes stretched like hours. And then, suddenly, the stars returned, and Earth hung below them like a blue jewel. But the fleet had no time to admire it. Far above the planet, sensors detected movement. The alien ships had arrived faster than expected. Their formation was terrifyingly precise, surrounding Earth in a massive ring. It was more than a fleet, it was an ocean of destruction. "Scan for weak points," Elena ordered, her voice steady despite the panic. "Anything that can give us an advantage." "Nothing yet," Kiran replied, his fingers flying over the controls. They are perfect. No gaps, no signs of vulnerability." Elena clenched her fists. "Then we make our own. We fight smart. We fight with everything we have." On the bridge, the tension was almost unbearable. Every crew member knew that once the battle started, many would not return. Yet, despite fear, there was determination. Human history had always faced impossible odds, and somehow, humanity had survived. Perhaps, they could survive this too. Meanwhile, on one of the larger alien vessels, the alien commander observed the humans. Their ships were small, fragile. Yet, the humans did not run. They held their formation, standing against impossible odds. Curiosity stirred in the alien mind. Why did they not flee? Why did they prepare to fight? Back on the human fleet, Eric's ship trembled as alarms blared. "Commander! Incoming scouts! They're approaching fast." Elena nodded grimly. "All pilots, engage. Show them that humanity is not weak. Give the fleet time to prepare. We fight for Earth." Eric's heart pounded as he launched from the carrier, chasing the alien scouts into the black void. Lasers streaked across space, explosions lit the darkness, and for the first time in this battle, humanity made the aliens hesitate. Yet, even as the fleet fought bravely, a strange signal flickered on Kiran's screen. It was faint, almost impossible to detect. A repeating pattern inside the alien formation, subtle but present. "Commander, there's something," he said, pointing to the display. "A signal. We can't tell what it is, but it's coming from the aliens." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Keep it quiet for now. We don't know if it's a trap, or an opportunity. Either way, we survive long enough to find out." As Earth rotated below them, shining in the darkness, the human fleet prepared for a battle unlike any other. The last fleet had arrived. The last stand had begun. And somewhere in the shadows of the alien armada, secrets waited, dangerous and deadly, ready to change everything. The stars were calm again. But this time, the calm was only the eye of the storm. The human fleet hung in orbit above Earth, every ship tense and alert. The alien armada loomed like a dark storm on the horizon, their massive shapes blotting out the stars. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the flagship, her eyes scanning every readout. She could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on her. The survival of humanity rested on her decisions, and the aliens showed no mercy, no hesitation. "Scouts report multiple movement patterns, Commander," Lieutenant Kiran Shah said, his fingers flying across the console. "They're probing us, testing our defenses." Elena's jaw tightened. "Let them test. We'll show them that humans don't break easily." She turned to the communications officer. "Prepare all pilots. I want full engagement protocols ready. If they come closer, we strike first." Meanwhile, young pilot Eric Diaz adjusted his helmet and gripped the controls of his fighter. His heart raced as he stared at the massive alien vessels approaching. They were bigger than anything he had ever seen. His squadron of human fighters seemed like tiny insects next to the giants. "Eric, Formation Alpha." Elena's voice came over the comm. "Stay close. Watch each other's backs. We may be small, but we can still hurt them if we work together." Eric swallowed hard. "Yes, ma'am." His hands tightened on the controls, the sweat on his forehead gleaming under the dim cockpit lights. Outside, the first alien ships began to move. They didn't fire immediately, but their weapons glowed faintly, a warning of the destruction they could unleash. Suddenly, the alien commander's voice, strange and deep, almost mechanical, echoed across the communications channels, translated instantly by human systems. "Humans, you should flee. Resistance is meaningless. Your planet will be ours." Elena's eyes narrowed. "We are not fleeing. Humanity does not surrender." Her voice was calm, but every word carried iron resolve. The aliens fired first. Beams of energy ripped through space, cutting across the void with deadly precision. One of the human frigates exploded in a bright flash, sending debris spinning. Eric's fighter shook violently as nearby lasers grazed his shields. "Evasive maneuvers. Evasive," he shouted into the comm around him. Other pilots darted between alien fire, using the limited agility of their ships to survive. Explosions illuminated the darkness, each one a reminder of how fragile the human fleet truly was. Despite the chaos, the humans fought back. Their weapons were weaker, but their tactics were clever. They used asteroids and orbital debris to hide, launching surprise attacks from unexpected angles. One human ship managed to disable an alien scout, sending it spiraling out of control. Cheers erupted across the comm channels, brief relief in the middle of terror. On the flagship, Elena watched closely. "Good work. Keep pressure on them. Every hit counts, no matter how small." Kiran leaned over a console, pointing at a new reading. "Commander, there's a pattern. Their ships are coordinated, but there's a rhythm, a cycle in their attacks. It's subtle, but if we time it, we might exploit it." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Explain." "They fire in sequence. Not all at once. There's a delay between their wings. We can use it to flank them, maybe even take out one of their larger vessels if we're precise," Kiran said. Elena nodded slowly. "Do it. But be careful. One mistake, and we all die." The pilots adjusted their formations, slipping through gaps in the alien fire. Eric felt his stomach churn as his fighter weaved between massive beams. He could see alien ships moving with deadly precision, yet he noticed something: small hesitations, brief pauses in their movements. Kieran's observation seemed correct. Suddenly, the aliens shifted tactics. Massive capital ships advanced, sending waves of smaller fighters against the humans. The humans fought valiantly, but losses were mounting. Each explosion tore at the nerves of the crews. Yet, even as the fleet dwindled, a stubborn hope burned. Humanity refused to break. Then came the moment that changed everything. A small group of alien vessels, distracted by the human flanking attack, revealed a strange glowing pattern on their hulls. It pulsed with energy, almost like a signal. Kieran noticed it immediately. "Commander, there's that signal again, the one we saw before. It's coming from the larger ships," he shouted. Elena's eyes narrowed. "Keep it under observation. Do not engage yet. We don't know what it is, but we need every advantage we can get." The aliens, unaware that humans had discovered the faint signal, pressed their attack. Eric's fighter dodged a direct hit and returned fire, watching in awe as one of the larger alien ships stumbled after a precise strike from a human frigate. The humans could win, but only if they stayed smart, if they stayed together. As the battle raged, a small part of the human fleet pushed forward toward Earth. They were battered, exhausted, but they had proven something: humans could fight against impossible odds. And somewhere deep inside the alien armada, curiosity stirred. These humans were different. They were not afraid. They were dangerous. The fleet regrouped near the shadow of a massive asteroid belt. Fires and debris floated in space like falling stars. Elena spoke over the comms. "This is only the beginning. Watch the signal. Study the enemy. We may be outgunned, but we are not outsmarted. Humanity survives through courage, cunning, and unity. Remember that." Eric adjusted his controls, heart still racing. He looked at the alien ships in the distance and whispered, "We can do this. We have to." The stars stretched around them, calm and silent again. But everyone knew it was only temporary. The real battle, the battle for Earth, was only beginning. The human fleet hovered near the asteroid belt, battered but alive. Fires burned on some ships, alarms blared endlessly, and the smell of smoke from the smaller compartments crept through the corridors. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the flagship, her face hard but determined. They had survived the first clash, but the aliens were not done. Far from it. Lieutenant Kieran Shaw studied the readings over and over. The strange signal inside the alien ships pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat. Every time the humans dodged or attacked, it flickered differently. "Commander," he said, pointing at the display, "I think this signal isn't just communication. It could be part of their systems, maybe a weak point." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Explain. How can we use it?" "I don't know yet. But if we understand it, we could target it. We could strike where it hurts them most," Kieran said. "It's risky. We've never seen technology like this. One wrong move, and we could trigger a full-scale attack on ourselves." Elena nodded slowly. "We have no choice. We're the last fleet. If we don't act, Earth is lost. Prepare a small strike team. Eric, you're in." Eric Diaz swallowed hard. His heart pounded. "Me? What do I do?" "You fly the lead fighter. You'll get close, observe the signal, and report patterns. Follow orders precisely," Elena said. "We have one chance. Don't waste it." The small team prepared to leave the main fleet. They moved quietly, slipping between burning debris and shattered satellites, their ships patched and scarred from battle. Every laser scar on their hulls told a story of survival, of narrow escapes, and of courage. As Eric piloted his fighter closer to the alien formation, he noticed something strange. One of the larger alien vessels emitted a pulsing glow from its central hull. The pulse synced perfectly with the signal Kieran had observed. "I see it," Eric shouted over the comm. It's like a rhythm. I can track it. Kieran's voice came through his helmet. Good. Observe it carefully. Look for patterns. This could be our way in. Suddenly, an alien scout appeared, gliding silently beside him. Eric's pulse raced. He twisted and fired, narrowly avoiding the scout's deadly claws, energy weapons unlike anything human had built. The scout spun out of control, destroyed by his last shot. I got it, he yelled, relief and fear mixing in his voice. Back on the flagship, Elena watched the data flowing in. Focus on the signal, she said to Kieran. We need to find a pattern, a vulnerability. Then we can plan a strike. Hours passed, and the small strike team worked tirelessly. Eric flew closer each time, risking death with every maneuver. Slowly, a pattern began to emerge. The signal pulsed in a cycle, bright for a few seconds, dim for longer, and then bright again. It seemed connected to their weapon systems. If struck at the right moment, the aliens could be temporarily disabled. This is it, Kieran said, his voice tight with excitement. If we hit them during the dim pulse, we could shut down their weapons for a short time. That could give the fleet an opening to attack. Elena took a deep breath. We'll need precision and timing. Every pilot must know their role. One mistake, and the aliens will destroy us all. The team returned to the fleet. Every pilot knew the stakes. Some shook with fear, some stared silently at the stars, but all were ready. The human fleet, though small and battered, now held a secret weapon, a plan that could turn the tide. But there was a shadow of doubt among them. The signal might be more dangerous than they realized. If it was connected to the alien systems, striking it could trigger retaliation beyond imagination. A miscalculation could destroy not just the fleet, but Earth itself. Eric looked out from his cockpit at the alien armada in the distance. He had seen death close, felt its cold grip, and yet he was alive. He clenched his fists. We can do this. We have to. For Earth. As night fell over the planet below, the fleet prepared. Elena's voice echoed through the comms. This is more than a fight for survival. This is a fight for humanity's future. We are small, we are outnumbered, but we are clever, we are brave, and we will not be defeated. Study the signal, learn the rhythm, and when the time comes, strike with everything we have. The stars seemed calm, silent witnesses to the human determination. Yet, in the shadows of the alien armada, the pulse of the signal continued. It was more than just light, it was a heartbeat, a warning, and a challenge. Somewhere in the dark, the alien commander noticed the humans' interest in the signal. Curiosity sparked, but suspicion followed. Humans were meddling where they shouldn't. The aliens had faced civilizations before, but never like this. These humans were not predictable. They were dangerous. The fleet waited, tense but ready. Eric's hands hovered over the controls, eyes glued to the display. Every pulse, every flicker of light, was a message waiting to be understood. The humans had discovered the alien secret, but using it would be their greatest gamble yet. And somewhere in the void, a storm of fire and metal waited, ready to challenge humanity like never before. The last fleet had a weapon, a plan. But whether it would save them or destroy them was a question only the coming battle could answer. The human fleet moved silently through the asteroid belt, each ship battered but determined. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the alien armada in the distance. They were larger, stronger, and more numerous, but the humans held a secret, a rhythm in the alien signal that could be used against them. All ships, listen up. Elena's voice rang over the comms. We have one chance. Study the alien signal. Time your attacks perfectly. One wrong move, and this fleet is lost. We strike on my command. Eric Diaz gripped his controls tightly, his fighter trembling under the pressure. He had flown dangerous missions before, but nothing like this. The entire fate of Earth rested on their shoulders. Around him, pilots adjusted their positions, weaving through the dark rocks and debris of the belt. Lieutenant Kiran Shah monitored the alien signal. Commander, the pulse is coming up. In 10 seconds, it will be dim. That's our window. All pilots, get ready. The fleet held its breath. Explosions from earlier skirmishes had lit the belt like a violent starfield, but now silence filled the void, as if the universe itself waited for what would happen next. Now! Elena shouted. The human fleet surged forward. Fighters darted through gaps in the asteroids, frigates fired precise laser volleys, and larger ships launched torpedoes toward the alien vessels. The alien armada, massive and confident, seemed to falter for the first time. Their weapon systems stuttered as the humans hit the pulse at exactly the right moment. Eric's fighter streaked past a colossal alien ship, its energy shields flickering from the strike. "It's working," he shouted, exhilaration and fear battling in his chest. He fired every weapon at the alien hull, watching as sparks and fire erupted across the massive surface. Kieran's voice echoed through the comms, calm and precise. "Focus on the gaps. Their defenses are weak during the pulse. Keep firing." The aliens reacted quickly, but it was too late. Smaller ships were disabled, their weapons offline. The human fleet pressed the advantage, surrounding the distracted vessels. Explosions lit the darkness as torpedoes found their marks. Some of the larger alien ships wobbled, sending out waves of uncontrolled fire that destroyed nearby fighters in seconds. On the flagship, Elena's hands were steady, guiding the fleet through chaos. "Keep the pressure. Watch your flanks. Do not break formation." Despite the victory, the cost was clear. Several human ships were lost, debris drifting like silent ghosts through the asteroid belt. Pilots who had trained for years were gone in seconds. Eric felt a pang of fear as he saw one of his comrades explode into the void, but he couldn't stop. The fight demanded focus, precision, and courage. Amid the battle, the alien commander adjusted its strategy. Massive capital ships moved to protect the vulnerable vessels, but the humans anticipated the move. Using the asteroid belt as cover, they circled behind the alien forces, striking from unexpected angles. Every human ship played its part, each pilot risking everything to keep the fleet alive. Eric dodged an incoming beam, sweat dripping down his face. He fired blindly, trusting Kieran's calculations. Sparks flew as one alien ship faltered under human attack. "Yes!" he shouted, adrenaline surging through him. Even as the humans gained the upper hand, the alien commander's curiosity grew. These creatures were unlike any opponent it had faced. They fought with intelligence, courage, and unpredictability. They were small, yet dangerous. Too dangerous to ignore. Elena watched the battle unfold on the flagship. "We're winning, for now," she muttered. "But we can't let our guard down. The larger ships are still operational. One wrong move, and everything is lost." Then, a massive explosion shook the fleet. One of the alien capital ships had been destroyed. The debris spiraled toward nearby vessels, forcing humans to dodge and weave. Amid the chaos, Eric kept his focus, guiding his fighter through the storm. He could see Earth below, its blue oceans a reminder of what they were fighting for. The battle raged on for hours, but the human fleet, though small and battered, proved that cunning and courage could rival brute force. Each victory came at a cost, yet every pilot knew that their sacrifice was for something greater than themselves. Finally, as the alien forces began to retreat, Elena allowed herself a brief breath. "This is only the first strike," she said over the comms. "We've shown them humans are dangerous, but the war is far from over. Study the battle, learn from every move. The next fight will be even harder." Eric lowered his visor, staring out at the stars. The alien fleet had faltered, yes, but they were not defeated. Not yet. And somewhere deep within the dark void, the alien commander prepared for the counterattack, already plotting humanity's destruction. The human fleet floated in the silence that followed the battle, damaged but alive. The pulse of the alien signal continued, mysterious and dangerous, a constant reminder that victory was only temporary. Yet in the hearts of the humans, hope burned brighter than ever. They had fought, they had survived, and they had proven that courage, intelligence, and unity could challenge even the most powerful enemy. And as the stars glimmered above, A quiet thought passed through every human mind: the next battle would decide the fate of Earth. The calm after the battle was short-lived. The human fleet floated among the asteroids, damaged ships drifting and crews tending to their injuries. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge of the flagship, scanning the alien fleet. It was smaller now, battered, but far from defeated. In fact, it was reorganizing, preparing for a counterattack that could destroy them all. Lieutenant Kiran Shah studied the incoming readings. "Commander, they're regrouping faster than we anticipated. They're calculating, analyzing every move we made in the last battle. This next strike, it won't be like the first." Elena's jaw tightened. "Then we have to be ready. All ships, double shields, double watch. Keep formations tight. Do not underestimate them, they're learning from us." Eric Diaz adjusted his controls, gripping the stick tightly. The adrenaline from the previous fight had faded, replaced by fear. This time, he knew, the aliens would come harder, faster, and smarter. "We can't let them break us," he muttered under his breath. "Not after everything." The alien armada advanced. Their formation was tighter, weapon systems glowing with deadly anticipation. Waves of smaller fighters swarmed forward, while massive capital ships moved like mountains through the darkness. Each human pilot felt the pressure, knowing that even a single mistake could mean death. "Eric, watch your six." Kieran's voice came through the comms. "They've got a squad coming from behind." Eric spun his fighter, narrowly avoiding a volley of alien fire. One fighter exploded in a bright flash, debris scattering across the void. "I see them," he shouted. He fired back, striking one of the attackers, but another closed in immediately. The swarm seemed endless, a tide of death pushing relentlessly forward. On the flagship, Elena's fingers flew over the controls. "Focus fire on the lead capital ships. Don't waste energy on the smaller ones yet. Keep the fighters alive, we need every pilot." The humans fought with everything they had. Shields flickered, alarms blared, and the fleet shuddered under the alien onslaught. Losses mounted. Every ship that fell sent a wave of tension through the rest. Even so, the fleet did not break. Each pilot pushed forward, taking calculated risks, aiming for precision strikes. Kieran noticed something disturbing. "Commander, the alien capital ships, they're adapting mid-battle. Their shields are fluctuating in response to our attacks. They're learning faster than we expected. We might not have the advantage for long." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Then we have to force them into a trap. Lure them near the debris field. Use the environment. If we can't beat them head-on, we'll make them pay for every step." Eric led a small squadron, weaving through the asteroid field. The larger alien ships followed, trying to crush the humans with their superior firepower. Suddenly, one of the frigates exploded nearby, sending shrapnel flying. Eric felt the heat of the blast against his shields. He fired back blindly, praying his aim was enough. "Focus," Elena barked. "Remember the pulse. Watch their rhythm. Wait for the right moment." The human pilots adapted quickly, using every trick in their arsenal. One fighter flew so close to a massive alien ship that it ricocheted off an asteroid, destroying several smaller alien vessels in a single maneuver. Eric's heart raced as he performed similar risky maneuvers, dodging death at every turn. But the aliens were relentless. A massive capital ship launched a beam that swept across the fleet, disabling shields on 2 human frigates. Explosions lit the darkness, debris spinning like deadly stars. "We're losing ships," a pilot cried. Elena's voice was calm but firm. "Hold the line. Don't give up. We've survived worse." Amid the chaos, Kieran noticed something vital. "Commander, the pulse signal, it's changing. They've modified it. They're trying to counter our attacks. If we don't act fast, this could end badly." Elena's mind raced. "Then we adapt. Eric, lead a strike squadron on my mark. Focus on the pulse control points. Take them out before they adjust further." Eric swallowed hard, fear gripping his chest. Understood, Commander. The fleet executed the maneuver with precision. Fighters darted between alien fire, frigates launched torpedoes, and torpedoes struck the larger ships in their weak points. For a brief moment, the humans gained the upper hand, exploiting the small window before the aliens adapted fully. Explosions rocked the alien ships, sending debris spiraling into space. The tide of the battle shifted slightly, but the fleet was battered. Pilots struggled to maintain formation, some drifting alone in the void, damaged and vulnerable. Elena looked out at the chaos, determination burning in her eyes. We survive this. We fight smarter, harder, and together. Humanity is not done yet. Eric's fighter dodged another beam, his shields flashing red. He glanced at the destroyed alien vessels and whispered, "We can do this. We have to." The alien armada began to retreat, regrouping once again. But the humans knew it was only temporary. They had survived the counterattack, but the next strike would be even deadlier. Every pilot felt the weight of the coming battle pressing down on them. As the fleet regrouped, Elena's voice came over the comms, calm but resolute. "This is far from over. The aliens will strike again. We must be ready. Study their tactics, learn from every move, and prepare for the next battle. Our survival depends on it." The stars above Earth glimmered coldly, silent witnesses to the fierce struggle below. The human fleet had survived, for now. But somewhere in the depths of the alien armada, a plan was forming, one that could destroy humanity if they weren't ready. And in the hearts of the human fleet, courage burned brighter than fear. The war for Earth was far from over, and every pilot knew the next battle could decide the fate of the planet. The human fleet floated silently above Earth, battered and weary. Fires still burned on some ships, alarms continued to wail, and the silence between battles felt heavy. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the alien armada in orbit. They were regrouping again, stronger and more prepared. Every pilot knew this. The next battle would decide the fate of humanity. "Commander," Lieutenant Kiran Shah said, pointing at the main display, "we've analyzed the signal. We know how it works now. If we hit the pulse points in the alien network, we can shut down their weapons temporarily. But the timing has to be perfect. One mistake, and we all die." Elena's jaw tightened. "Then we take that risk. Humanity is small, but clever. This is our chance. We strike not just with strength, but with intelligence." Eric Diaz, sitting tensely in his fighter, swallowed hard. "Commander, how do we know it will work? What if it fails?" Elena's eyes met his through the comm screen. "It has to work, Eric. If it doesn't, Earth is lost. But it will work, because we are prepared, and we fight as one. Remember that. We are human, and we never give up." The fleet gathered near a dense asteroid belt. The rocks would provide cover, hiding their movements from the alien sensors. Every ship was patched and repaired as best as possible. Pilots ran through pre-flight checks, engineers tightened shields, and soldiers prepared for boarding parties if necessary. "There's no margin for error," Elena said over the comms. "This plan is dangerous, but it's the only way. Kiran, double-check the pulse coordinates. Make sure every ship knows its target. Timing is everything." Kiran nodded, his fingers flying over the console. "Coordinates locked. All units synchronized. If we strike together, the alien armada will be temporarily paralyzed. That's when we hit hard, aim for their central command ships." A murmur ran through the fleet. Some pilots shook with fear, others stared silently at the stars. Every human knew the risk. One misstep could destroy the fleet, the planet, and all hope for humanity. Yet determination burned brighter than fear. Elena walked the bridge, her face grim. "We have to consider civilian safety," she said. "The weapon might cause shockwaves that could damage Earth if misused. We have to time the strike perfectly, far enough from the surface to protect the people below." Eric clenched his fists. "We're risking everything. Every ship. Every life. Yes, Elena said calmly. But sometimes, Eric, that is the only way to survive. Humanity has always survived by taking risks and using our brains, not just our weapons. That's why we fight. The fleet moved into position. Asteroids loomed large, hiding their ships from alien sensors. Every pilot was tense, gripping controls, eyes scanning the void. Even small mistakes could spell disaster. Kieran studied the alien formation. They've adjusted some systems since the last attack. They're learning. But the pulse points remain the same. We strike now, before they adapt further. Elena nodded. All pilots, listen carefully. On my mark, engage pulse points. Lead ships will follow the rhythm. When the alien weapons go offline, the main fleet strikes at the heart of their armada. Stick to the plan. Precision. Timing. Humanity depends on it. Eric's fighter trembled as he prepared to launch. He could see alien ships in the distance, massive, cold, and deadly. Every pilot felt a mixture of fear and determination. They were small against the alien ocean, but they had intelligence, courage, and unity. Elena took a deep breath. This is it. Humanity's last stand. We strike not just with weapons, but with every ounce of our knowledge, courage, and skill. Remember your training. Trust your team. Trust yourselves. The fleet waited for the pulse. Seconds stretched like hours. The alien armada drifted unknowingly, confident in their numbers and technology. Then, the signal dimmed, the perfect moment. Now! Elena shouted. The human fleet surged forward. Fighters darted through gaps, frigates fired torpedoes, and the pulse points were struck simultaneously. Alien weapons faltered, systems flickered, and a moment of silence followed the chaos. Then, explosions erupted across the alien armada as the humans struck with everything they had. Eric's heart pounded. He weaved between massive alien ships, firing lasers and torpedoes at weak points. The larger vessels stumbled, and for the first time, the humans had the upper hand. Every ship in the fleet acted in perfect synchronization, a single unit against an enemy that had thought itself invincible. But the plan was dangerous. One miscalculation could destroy the fleet or trigger catastrophic failures. Every pilot felt the tension, the pressure, and the weight of history pressing down on them. Elena stood on the bridge, eyes fixed on the alien armada. Hold the line. Keep pushing. Humanity is alive, and we will not be defeated. Somewhere in the shadows of space, the alien commander noticed the strike. Its systems faltered, weapons offline, but curiosity burned in its mind. These humans were unpredictable. Dangerous. Perhaps, it thought, too dangerous to ignore. The fleet continued its assault, every strike precise, every maneuver calculated. The pulse had given them a chance, but the battle was far from over. And in the hearts of the humans, courage burned brighter than fear, determination stronger than despair. The final battle was coming, and humanity was ready to fight with everything it had. The human fleet hovered above Earth, battered, scarred, but alive. Commander Elena Voss stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the alien armada. The moment of destiny had arrived. Every pilot, every soldier, every engineer knew this was it, the final battle for Earth. Listen up. Elena's voice rang over the comms, steady and calm despite the chaos outside. This is the moment we fight for everything. We strike together. Every ship, every pilot, every fighter has a role. Hit the pulse points. Disable their weapons. Then we go for their central command ships. Timing is everything. Eric Diaz gripped his fighter's controls tightly. His hands trembled slightly, but his resolve burned brighter than fear. He had flown through destruction before, dodged beams that could vaporize his ship, and watched comrades die. But now, he knew he had to be fearless. For Earth. The fleet moved into formation. Asteroids and debris from earlier battles provided cover, hiding them from alien sensors. Every ship was patched, shields reinforced, weapons ready. The pulse signal flickered in the distance, and Kiran Shah called out the timing. Commander, Pulse is dim. Strike now, or we lose the advantage. Elena's eyes narrowed. Now. Hit every point. Focus fire on the command ships. The fleet surged forward. Fighters darted between massive alien vessels, lasers streaking through space like deadly lightning. Frigates fired torpedoes at precise angles, exploding against alien hulls. The larger ships faltered as human strategy met alien technology in a perfect storm. Arak's fighter weaved through the chaos, narrowly avoiding beams and exploding debris. One of the alien capital ships stumbled under the attack, sending shockwaves that threw nearby ships into tumbling spins. He fired relentlessly, watching as part of the armada went dark. On the flagship, Elena directed the fleet with calm precision. Keep the pressure. Focus on the command ships. Timing, timing, timing. But the aliens were not defeated easily. Massive vessels launched concentrated attacks, trying to crush the humans in waves of energy. One frigate exploded near Arak, sending him tumbling into a field of spinning debris. His heart raced, adrenaline flooding him, but he remembered Elena's words: precision, courage, unity. Across the fleet, heroes fell. Fighters were destroyed, torpedoes misfired, and explosions lit the darkness. Yet the humans pressed on, using every trick, every calculation, every ounce of courage to survive and strike. Every small victory mattered, every strike counted. Then came the moment that would decide everything. The pulse points on the alien armada were hit simultaneously. Alien weapons faltered, shields dropped, and a cascade of explosions tore across their massive ships. For the first time, the humans had true control of the battlefield. Arak's eyes widened as he saw the central command ship wobble, vulnerable for the first time. "This is it," he shouted into the comms. Fighters surged forward, targeting the heart of the alien fleet. Lasers, torpedoes, and missiles struck in unison, breaking the alien formation apart. But victory came at a cost. One of the larger human frigates, carrying key soldiers, was caught in a shockwave from an exploding alien ship. It shattered, debris spinning into the void. Arak and others watched helplessly as comrades were lost in moments. Sacrifice had carved a path to victory. Elena's voice was calm but firm. "Push forward. We finish this. For Earth. For humanity." Slowly, deliberately, the alien armada began to crumble. Smaller ships broke apart, capital ships lost coordination, and the remaining forces retreated in disorder. Humanity had struck the final blow, clever strategy overcoming superior numbers and technology. As the last alien ship exploded, silence returned to the void. The human fleet floated among the debris, battered but victorious. The stars above glimmered quietly, bearing witness to humanity's courage and sacrifice. Arak lowered his visor, breathing heavily. Around him, fellow pilots checked in, some exhausted, some grieving, but all alive. They had survived the impossible. They had fought with everything they had, and won. On the flagship, Elena looked down at Earth, blue and fragile below. "This is what we fight for," she whispered. "Our home. Our people. Humanity will endure." But even in victory, the fleet knew the war had left scars. Ships were destroyed, pilots lost, and Earth itself had been shaken. Yet hope remained. Humanity had survived against impossible odds, proving that courage, intelligence, and unity could triumph over even the most powerful enemy. Far in the darkness of space, the remnants of the alien armada retreated, battered and broken. Yet curiosity burned in the mind of the alien commander. These humans were different. Unpredictable. Dangerous. Perhaps, it thought, they were worth watching, for now. Back on the fleet, Arak looked at the stars, still trembling but proud. "We did it," he whispered. "We really did it." Elena placed a hand on his shoulder. "Yes, we did. But remember this, Arak. Humanity will always face threats. But as long as we fight with courage, intelligence, and heart, we will never be defeated." The fleet drifted silently above Earth, battered but alive. The war was over, for now. Humanity had won. Sacrifices had been made. Heroes had fallen. But the last fleet had dared to fight when all hope seemed lost. And in that daring, humanity had proven that it would survive, no matter the odds.